Thank you, Mayor Gainey. Always one to energize the room. Okay, get everybody pumped up to do some really good work today, and that's what it's all about. We are going to get down in just a second into some of the meat of today's program, but before we do that, Tim mentioned a series of videos that he has produced, actually in partnership with the Pittsburgh Steelers, as well as the Pirates and the Penguins, to really try to spread the word to the leadership of the community, to the employers of the community, about the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so what we are doing at the Allegheny Conference, I've been working with Majestic Lane, who now runs our community and thought leadership program, to create excerpts of the videos that we are going to be distributing to our members. And our members are the 250 largest employers in southwestern Pennsylvania. And so the idea is to kind of make the business case for why it would make sense for all of these organizations to take this seriously, despite what happened with the Supreme Court, and remain committed to diversifying their workforce, as well as the leadership in organizations, because at the end of the day, we believe it's better for them. And it's not just good for the community and good for the people involved. So we'd like to just share those excerpts with you right now. They haven't started to go out yet, but they will be as a follow-on to today's conference. We'll be sending them out to our members in hopes we can get more of them engaged in this process and involved in what the Corporate Equity and Inclusion Roundtable is seeking to accomplish. So please, you may roll the video. It's no secret that southwestern Pennsylvania is one of the least diverse regions in the United States in terms of our demographics. And for employers, that poses a real challenge, because so many companies, especially those who have customers all across the country, they want a leadership team. They want a group of employees who kind of look like and understand the people they serve, that they sell their goods and services to.
There's enough talent here in the city of Pittsburgh that we can look within to ensure that African Americans get positions in city governments, county, nonprofits, and other businesses.
Often, our diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts are diluted, and we don't have an insight on how we can help a population, specifically the needs that they have.
We felt this was unacceptable. We decided to do something about it. And that's how Corporate Equity and Inclusion Roundtable came about. In response to that, aimed at dealing with the employment of Black people from entry level to the C-suite and all positions in between, and to support Black entrepreneurial development in the region.
I've known Tim Stevens for a very long time, dating back to even my days when I was with the Pittsburgh Penguins. And Tim and I have often talked about how we can continue to improve diversity, equity, and inclusion among the Pittsburgh corporate community, not just the sports teams, but how the sports teams could be a real leader in this space.
You know, the DEI space is always evolving, continuing to, make progress and inroads. So I really think that the CEIR playbook provides a lot of insight and help that maybe a lot of DEI professionals otherwise wouldn't have.
So my first impression of CEIR was really impressed with the number of people that Tim was able to bring to the conference and to the table to discuss hiring African Americans within our region.
He's been talking about this playbook for a number of years with me, and it just was a possibility for all of us to come together as 3 sports teams, with me moving to the Pirates, with David Morehouse.
And we're all going to work together as we move forward to do what Art said, which was start putting some meat behind the Rooney Rule and implementing it across the Pittsburgh region.
And our friends still at the Penguins, we were able to come together and really unite in terms of promoting the playbook.
It's so easy to do business the way we've always done it, and to do business with people you knew growing up, or you went to school with, or who you have a track record with, and you trust them. There's just an economic reality in southwestern Pennsylvania right now. We have more jobs than we have people. And that's a mind shift for employers and managers across the region, because for the past 40 years, we've always had more people than we have had jobs. And so then it was easy to go with the people you know and to keep those doors open, and other people got left out because you never had enough jobs for all the people. Well, today, we've got lots of jobs in the region, lots of potential, and we don't have the talent coming in to really fill all of those jobs.
If you want your company to continue to grow and be successful, you have to start looking at our young people and seeing how they are going to be engaged and utilized within these different companies.
BPEP's Corporate Equity and Inclusion Roundtable Playbook states the importance of area employers having effective and active programs and pathways that create opportunities for employment and contractual opportunities for those who have been involved in the justice system. One area corporation that exhibits such an approach is the P.J. Dick Corporation.
I grew up on the north side, in between Brighton and Federal Street, till my mom had got into some trouble and she was incarcerated. Then my brother had got into some trouble. I took a turn in high school and it led me into the streets numerous amounts of times for possession with intent to deliver, manufacture, and delivering a controlled substance. Charges listed long. Prior to her release, she made a commitment to change her life around, and that she did. And she had got clean, and it started making a crazy impact in not only her life, but our lives as well. A good friend of mine, his name was Richard Littlejohn. He was shot and killed several years back. That's how I got with, not only in the construction field with Local 373, that's how I got with P.J. Dick. P.J. Dick has given me one of the biggest opportunities. Not only have they employed me and gave me the opportunity to work my way up from being placed in foster care to being placed in placements, juvenile detention centers, county jails, state prisons, and a federal holding facility. A 7-time convicted felon? No. Statistically shown, I'm not supposed to be where I'm at. But along the way, I have had help through counseling, mentors, through construction, have gotten me the opportunity to make a difference in my life and for the families and friends surrounding me.
With the assistance of Delvina Morrow, our Vice President of Community Affairs and Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, we have made the document a living document. So instead of it just being static and looking at it.
I've been shot. I was shot 3 times at the age of 15, 3 days before my 16th birthday. Was in the hospital for about 2 months. Had to learn to walk again. I grew up in the community seeing, people dealing drugs and, crime and things like that. So I kind of became a product of my environment. I try to suppress it so much, and I guess it's a trauma thing for me. When you make it to this level, it's like, do you want people to know your past? Will they look at you differently? I started my first business, Aaron Gibson Jr. Photography. That was my first real business, 2013. My photography and then consulting business, and then I ship and pack. So my consulting business kind of helped me with I ship and pack because of the P.O. boxes, right? So I help people set up small businesses and do their LLCs and operating agreements and getting them to understand business on a structure level. There's a lot of others that's, come from the same community as me, have the same upbringing as me, who never got the chance that I got because they didn't know, one, where to look. They were working dead-end jobs, and they didn't have the opportunities. There's people who don't get opportunities based off of what they look like. Give these individuals an opportunity to show you that they're worthy.
Got to get more creative. They've got to work harder at it. But the business case for doing that is it's going to enable their company to thrive and be successful over time. And, I think that's why every employer in the region needs to take this seriously.
It's definitely a powerful piece of work. It provides a lot of tools and insight, really, that a lot of organizations might not have thought to think that way before. Really, it's about trying to get people to think differently, think outside the box, do things differently in ways that they've never done before. And it's extremely important work.
Don't be overwhelmed. The playbook has many different initiatives. Some are very easy to implement. Some are more complicated and complex that might not apply to you. In fact, there were about 3 or 4 that are very specific to education that didn't apply to us. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna look at the other 46 that are there that were phenomenal. And so sometimes it's just simply saying, let me take a look. Even if you get to implement one, you're making a difference.
There's one more? Oh, I thought there were 4. Okay.
I'm Ed Gainey, Mayor of the City of Pittsburgh, and I want to thank Tim Stevens at BPEP for their work in making our city and our country more equitable with their Corporate Equity and Inclusion Roundtable Playbook. The playbook is helping corporations understand how to provide more equitable opportunities in order to give more people a chance to thrive. As mayor, I'm proud to say that we are working to do what we can to create a city where everyone who calls our city home has an opportunity to build a better life for themselves and their family. By updating our procurement process, we have been able to increase our MWDBE participation goals by 30%. And in 1 year, we were able to have 3 African-American companies win prime contracts, a first for our city. We have also improved opportunities for employment by removing systematic barriers to good family-sustaining jobs with the city, including embedding anti-discrimination language into every contract for our returning citizens. I know we have a partner in Tim and BPEP, and I encourage everyone to join us to make Pittsburgh the safest, most welcoming, and thriving city in America. Thank you.
All right, there you go. Got to get the mayor's video on, for crying out loud. That was great. So again, our intent is to share those clips with our members at the Allegheny Conference in hopes of generating more interest and commitment to moving these initiatives forward. So we really appreciate it. And got to give a big shout out to the Pittsburgh Pirates and Ken Brown, the videographer, who did such a wonderful job on those videos. And on the longer form one too, which is also well worth watching.